In this video, I will give a shading tutorial like this in my own style. We have sample images for coloring and shading. So let's go straight to the base color first. The way I color is by adding a new layer and placing it below the outline layer. That will make it easier for you to shade and color the picture later. So for the shading, I added another new layer, but below the outline layer, and I used a clipping mask for the shading. Then I used a water-based paintbrush from Mikoyo. This is the QR code of the brush. Then I started shading by choosing a color that was darker than the original color, but had a higher color saturation, because I think it can make my drawing more interesting. And in the first shading layer, I lowered the opacity of the brush and increased the size of the brush. Then on the second shading layer, I increased the opacity to 100% and reduced the size of the brush. Then onto the hair, I prefer to give dark streaks or shading to his hair, because it will make his hair more attractive. Once finished, make dark lines in his hair. I prefer to add thin shading to the dark lines of the hair, like this. After making thin shading on the dark lines of his hair, next I will add highlights which are bright but more yellow. I will add white to the second layer of the highlight layer to make it brighter. I'll add a little detail like this. The highlight details. For the skin color, I used white for the base color. For the color of his body pattern, I used a brush from Moyoko, which I gave the QR code for earlier. So this brush from Moyoko can blend different colors. So I chose white to blend the color of her body pattern with the white base color. The body pattern is ready. Okay, I will give you an example. If shading is on something and the saturation is less, but it dark, it will be like this. Shading techniques like this will make your image look gloomy and less bright. This might be suitable for people who want to draw something horror or something gloomy. Since today's tutorial image is more about drawing something bright, I used a technique where the shading color is dark, but the saturation is higher. As I explained earlier, on the first layer, lower the opacity of the brush. Then on the second layer, increase the opacity of the brush to 100%. I also added shadow to his forehead to make it look more real and because it was covered by hair. I did the same for my sleeves. Because the texture of my sleeves is a little slippery, so I added highlight details like this. Also do the same thing on the ears. First, for the base color, I choose white. Then the color pattern, I choose a slightly reddish brown, and I blend them. Oh yes, I almost forgot his face. Well, now I will draw his face and give you a tutorial on coloring his eyes. For the eyes, I prefer to color them manually because they include small details, as I usually color them with different layers. Maybe everyone already knows how to shade eyes, but I prefer to choose gradually when I use this art style. Then under the eyeballs, I filled in with bright yellow highlights. For the pupil, I divided it into two, namely, the larger pupil, which is darker than the color of the original eyeball, then the very small pupil color is black. Before I give black color to the smallest pupil, I prefer to give a little highlight to the large pupil. Do the same thing on the other eye. So that the eyes don't look like a depressed person, it's better to add a little highlight to the eyes. I don't sleep much, so I put these details on the bottom of his eyes. And in fact, this is also my art style. This is what I do when I'm too lazy to make a background. This method is quite simple. This can make the picture look a little more detailed. After that, I will create strokes both on the characters. But before that, don't forget to deactivate the background layer because that will make your character layer and your background layer merge after adding layer from canvas. I used a drop shadow to make the character background look more real. So, this time we will add layers from canvas to all layers. And these effects are what I use to make my images look more detailed. So this is the speed paint result. Sorry if I'm not good at explaining things. Also sorry because I can't name the body parts correctly. Thank you for watching. I hope this tutorial is useful for you.